But it's time to move on to US market check. It seems after India's spectacular performance, it was turn of US markets. Wall Street three major indices rose sharply on Monday, with S&P 500 marking its highest level since early March, as a US-China agreement to temporarily slash tariffs brought some hopes for the easing of global trade war, which US President Donald Trump ignited in early April. On Monday, the S&P 500, Nasdaq and Dow all boosted their single-day percentage gains since April 9, and S&P broke above its 200-day moving average. This happened for the first time late March. Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 1,160 points or 2.8% for closing highest level since March 26. Similarly, S&P 500 gains 184 points or 3.26%, its highest close since March 3, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 780 points or more than 4% for its highest finish since February 28. Nasdaq closed more than 22% above its lowest session close in April tariff sell-off, but was still almost 8% below its December 16 record close. Wall Street fear gauge the CBOE volatility index, which had hit a peak of 60 in April due to tariff fears, traded below 20 on Monday for the first time since late March. This kind of a rally comes in US, and China have announced that they would slash steep tariffs on each other 90 days. Remember, this announcement was important yesterday. When this announcement came, US market started to rise. The US said that it will cut tariffs imposed on Chinese imports to 30% from 145%, while China said it would cut duties on US imports to 10% from 125%. Meanwhile, the earnings session is winding down, with more than 90% of S&P 500 companies have reported so far. Numbers from retail giant Walmart Open new tab are due later this week. Kanishka, but also crude market had quite a good session.
Well, absolutely, and after record levels on the Wall Street, the crude oil futures also jumped more than 1% yesterday after the US and China agreed to slash tariffs. The US crude oil gained 1.5% to close near the $62 per barrel mark. Brent, on the other hand, also rose more than 1.5% to settle at $65 per barrel. Prices jumped about 4% earlier in the session. The gains come as Washington and Beijing have agreed over the weekend in Switzerland to slash sky-high tariff rates by 115%. The lower tariff rate will remain in place for 90 days as the world's two largest economies continue to negotiate. Now remember, oil prices had plunged to the lowest level in 4 years earlier this month as President Donald Trump's global tariff regime raised the risk of a recession that would slow demand. At the same time, OPEC Plus has agreed to rapidly increase supply to the market this month and the next as well. Now, oil prices are down more than 12% so far this year. Low prices are also pressuring US shale oil producers, who generally need crude prices at $65 per barrel to drill new wells profitability. Meanwhile, Aramco CEO says that oil demand is seen steady and growing in 2025. On the other hand, safe haven gold fell 3% yesterday as risk sentiment crept in following the announcement of a temporary deal between US and China. And the spot gold was down 3% at $3,225 an ounce. Bullion, considered a hedge against economic and geopolitical turmoil, hit a record high of $3,500 last month amid increased tariff uncertainty. Now, yesterday, US gold futures settled 3.5% lower at $3,228. Apart from that, in other markets following the US-China deal, the US dollar surged to over a one-month high and global shares rallied, as we mentioned earlier. Now, remember, a stronger greenback makes gold more expensive for foreign investors.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.